Good day all, and welcome to my next Doctor Who DVD series overview video. And today this is the second part featuring Doctor number 4, as we all know, Tom Baker. So to start us off today, which is actually one of the first stories that I remember watching as a kid, Revenge of the Cybermen. Also notable, this was actually the very first story to be released on video. It was both VHS and beta. I actually remember renting the beta version of this. Yes, well, it would have been around 1987, so it was a while ago. But anyway, so here we have Revenge of the Cybermen. This was as the Cybermen had returned after a long absence. The story tends to be, well, some people like it, some people hate it. I guess me, for nostalgia reasons, this has by default become one of my favorites because it just reminds me of early Doctor Who, and actually for the longest time, this was the only episode that I actually had on tape, so I watched it over and over again. But anyway, so here we have Revenge of the Cybermen. This also actually has one of my favorite documentaries. It has to do with recording off TV and videotape swapping. Obviously before the days of DVD or where you could watch things online, and just reminds me of some of those ropey off-air recordings that I had, which for some odd reason when I started I was doing an extended play mode on cheap tapes, and just brings back memories of the days before DVD. But anyway, so here's the back of it right there. And there we go. And then we're on to the next season. Now this Terror of the Zygons. This had actually been scheduled to be the final first release story of the Doctor Who DVD run. Of course, obviously, as we know now, some additional stories have been found, so it won't be the last. There will be more coming out. Although Web of Fear and Enemy of the World have not yet been announced in Region 1, at least to this date. I don't think the dates have been announced, but I think we'll be seeing that next year. Anyway, so what was originally supposed to close off the DVD series, Terror of the Zygons. This is also notable because this was the last regular appearance of the Brigadier. He didn't appear again after this story until... I guess, yeah, Wells' next appearance was Peter Davison, which about 8 or 9 years after this one, so this was pretty much the end of the unit, even though they did appear in some subsequent stories, but this was the last time we saw the Brigadier. Anyway, so Terror of the Zygons. This is also, like I said, the most recent release. I didn't actually bother doing a separate DVD video of this one since it was just coming up in my series anyway. And I'd actually held off doing this until I finally got a copy of this one. But anyway, so here we go. Terror of the Zygons, very Scottish themed. Zygons, Loch Ness Monster, lots of fun. And then we go on to, actually, the next two are two of my favorite stories. Planet of Evil is definitely in my top 10 for Doctor Who stories. I just really like the atmosphere of this one, and this was classic Hinchcliffe or Philip Hinchcliffe and Robert Holmes. Pretty much by this point they had reached their second season and had kind of perfected sort of the classic Tom Baker years, or the first 3 years, and what is, what many of us think is Doctor Who. But Planet of Evil, some really creepy film sequences in this one as well, which I think also adds to the story and makes it all that more watchable and enjoyable. This DVD release itself, I think that came out around early 2008, so it's been around for a while. Revenge of the Cybermen, that was 2010, if I remember correctly, and obviously this is 2000, or Terror of the Zygons is 2013. And this has got, your standard behind-the-scenes things, but also when one of my many lives, I have been an archivist, and they go into the written archive here in the special features, which, I don't know, me being the geek I am, I don't know, I just kind of like that stuff, but I'm sure it's not everyone's cup of tea. But anyways, so here we go. Interesting hairstyles. Definitely the 1970s. And then what is considered by many to be one of the best Doctor Who stories, or perhaps even the best Doctor Who story of all time. It's one of those that always comes up. Genesis of the Daleks, Pyramids of Mars, Caves of Androzani comes up as well, amongst a few others. This is actually an old release. This was 2004. Yeah, it was 2004. So this one's been out for 9 years. But when the DVD series first came out, this was one of the ones that was at the top of my list. So I definitely wasn't complaining. And this was when they had actually, shortly after they'd started to actually incorporate a decent selection of special features into the DVDs as well. This has actually some really fascinating documentaries, not only on the obviously the making of this, but also it has a really cool documentary on sort of the gothic theme of the Philip or that, well, we'll call it the Hinchcliffe Holmes years, if we want to put it that way, but sort of, you know, why it was the way it was, why it was successful, and I still think this was probably the best era for Doctor Who, including even the new series. Part of this also is because just the way it was shot, they didn't have access to the special effects that you'd have today, or CGI or stuff like that. So you had to be creative in making things creepy, and it was more about the story than showing off. But anyway, so that is the latest Doctor Who review. So stay tuned, because there are definitely many more to come. So thank you. Have yourselves a wonderful day, and thank you for watching.